What's funny is I have a picture of Luke that was it. We showed it at the Tucson Popcorn Convention. And here's Luke standing, and it's this tidal wave of people coming because they all get off the BART train and they all come out one exit of the subway station, and they all walk down this one street. And literally it's 500 people stacked, and there's like this break of no people, and he's standing there with his bag of popcorn from the back as a photo. And it's like that. He's like, all right, I'm ready for him, and he's bracing. And so what's funny is he'll be giving a speech to one person, other people would stop and listen in, and at times we'd actually have people start pitching for Luke. Customers that just bought would be like, hey, you got to get some of this stuff. And I'm literally, there would people that would just come by and just literally just throwing money at me and pulling popcorn off the table that I'm swiping credit cards as fast as I can. We actually did $1,500 an hour, and I'm putting stuff away and people are still buying. And I'm putting stuff in my truck and people are coming up to me going, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got? You know, and I'm like, my wife's calling me, why are you not home yet? And I'm like, I'm trying, people won't stop buying. All right, so here we go, a little about myself. So my son joined the pack in like May, and by June the scoutmaster had come to me and goes, Jacob, the pack's dying, we need you to take over as cub master. And I'm like, sure, what do I got? He goes, you got 4 scouts and 54 cents in the bank. And the previous year to taking over, they'd only done $300 in popcorn sales. So I'm like, okay, great. So I'm talking to my scout executive. I'm like, how do we raise money? Because we sell popcorn. And I'm like, great, let's do this. So that first year, we sold, I had like 4 or 5 boys. We went out, we set up our table. Just setting up the table, we recruited 6 more boys for the pack. We ended up selling $3,000 in popcorn between those 4 boys. Luke sold 1,800 of it. And we were doing the whole, hey, buy my popcorn, hey, we're selling popcorn, because we didn't know anything. And we just thought we're doing another school, but just like a school fundraiser, hey, buy my stuff and buy band equipment kind of thing. So we kind of realized after the first year that there's got to be a better way to do this, and so we developed this sales plan, and we ended up going since that $300 to last year we did $41,000 in sales, and that was 8 scouts selling popcorn, 41,000. So we go out and we are making per scout $200 an hour, easy per scout. That's the ones that are brand new, just starting out, trying it, is that's how easy the speech flows. So Luke's donated, actually the number is $18,000 worth of popcorn to the military, our local military bases. He'll take all the donation money, buy the popcorn with it, and then we donate that away. So he's got these letters of appreciation from the Army and from the Coast Guard. The other thing he does is he supports the Troop 2 at the California School for the Blind. So we gave them a check for $1,000 last year. They did a nice thank you letter all written in Braille, and they gave that to him, and he's got that framed and up on his wall. He was telling you, so we went out yesterday, we did 3 hours. He did $565 in that 3 hours, and all his commission he's giving to Crew 1111, which is at the Austin School for the Blind. So he's not even keeping any of that. It was just to show that his speech and that method works in Texas just as well as it works in San Francisco. So no one can say, well, Jacob, you made that money because you have those busy street corners, you have the games, you have the subway stations. No, it's the speech, it's the process, it's the psychology behind it that works. So in our troop, we had 8 boys sell. Taking out Luke is the one. The next closest sold $3,200 in popcorn, $2,800, $25, $25, $14, and $14. The 2 boys that sold $1,400 only sold popcorn for 6 hours. That was it, 6 hours, $1,400. And these were all troops. And 6 of the 8 boys had never sold popcorn before. This year, everyone in our troop went to summer camp. Nobody had problems paying for summer camp, so that was awesome. 5 of the top 10 in the San Francisco Bay Area were out of our troop or our pack, and 11 of the 13 sold over $400. So that's really the ones that sold less than 400 showed up only once, like for an hour. So, so what do you need? Lots of gear, lots of camping gear. Luke already used my slide, so we'll pass that one. He already went over product versus medium. Medium is what? Popcorn. And the product is really scouting. All right, so I'm going to tell you about the anatomy of a sale and why this works and what we've identified and what you're really selling. I'm going to tell you how the speech works and go over places to sell for you in your area. So anybody know who Ken Croge is? I'm not even sure if I say his name right, but he does sales blogs, and he works for a sales company. And he wrote an article on Steve Jobs. And what is the one product that Steve Jobs made that made all the money? What was that? iPod. He made the iPod. And what did the iPod, what was the goal, the purpose of the iPod? Portable music. What did we have before the iPod? Huh? A boombox? We had the Sony Discman. The Discman, and before the Discman, we had the Walkman, and before the Walkman, we didn't have anything. So Steve Jobs realized, and what happened when you had the Walkman, or the Discman, and you went jogging, okay? It would always skip, okay? So he identified a need in the community for a better product that was going to satisfy what they want. Better music selection, something that doesn't skip, okay? Something more lightweight, okay? So he developed the iPod. So he didn't go out and he didn't go, okay, how do I create a need for my product? He went out and found where the need existed and fulfilled that product. And this is where I relate it to the popcorn and scouting. If you're out there going, buy my popcorn, hey, I'm selling popcorn, you are trying to create a need for somebody to buy overpriced popcorn. So you're counting on them being hungry and counting on them wanting to pay with the price for the popcorn. But we identified the need in the community that people want to feel like they're supporting something in the community. And when they don't have an outlet for that, they give the money to the next thing that they find. And that's usually the guy standing on the corner begging for money. Now, San Francisco, our guys make a lot of money. And I know Phoenix, the guys make a lot of money. And I'm sure you have the ones here that you see every day, and you've seen them there for the last 5, 6 years. And some of these guys are making $800 to $1,000 a day. And people will pull $20 out of their pocket and hand it directly to them and not blink an eye. And what do they get for it? They're not cute like a Cub Scout. They don't smell good. They're not getting any product in return. But they're getting a need met with inside of them that they are supporting something in the community and they're doing something good. Okay? Studies have shown that people are willing to spend up to $75 on a community goal cause to help them feel good when they can't actively participate and volunteer and provide stuff for the community. So we thought, well, how do we get those people to give that money to us versus give it to somebody else? So that's where we came up, really identified that we are selling the scouting program and how much they're supporting these boys. And in that, we meet the customer's need. So this slide here is kind of funny. It's a little bit of comedy in it, but we've all seen this. So how many people have bought their kid a toy for Christmas and they get it, and that excitement for that toy shoots up, and they play with that toy nonstop for 3 hours, and then after that, you've never seen that toy again. It's gone. They never pick it up again. Okay? This is kind of the same thing with popcorn sales. They get there out there the first day, they're super excited, you got them all pumped up, and they go out and they're having a kind of good time, and then all of a sudden they're not doing a lot of sales, and then they crash. And the next day you go, okay, let's go out and sell popcorn again, and they're like, I'm not going out. That was miserable. I don't want to do that again. So how do we get them to the point where they master that skill, where they come back up and they reach that plateau and they stay up there, that they're continually excited to go out and sell more and more popcorn? And there's a guy in Phoenix that we gave this class to last year. 450 people were there. His name was Orville. His pack did $2,300 prior to the prior year, and this last year he did $17,000. He had all his boys memorize the speech, and he went on out there. And I just off the cuff made a remark to him at the end when he was talking to me. I said, well, when you give the boys the proper tools to do the job, they do a good job at it. And he reminded me of that comment. It was just a fleeting moment. And he was talking to me on the phone the other day, and he goes, Jacob, you're right. When you give them the tools, they do a great job. And when you got a guy and you pay him to paint your house, you don't give him a tiny paintbrush and expect him to enjoy painting your whole house with it. You give him the proper tools so that he does the right job and does a good job. And that's what we're here to do today. So Luke kind of taught you a little bit about the hard sell versus the soft sell. So studies have shown that people that get a item hard sold to them, which is, hey, buy my product, or shoved in their face, this is what I'm selling, they feel like they're ripped off, that they paid too much, and guilty that they bought it, okay? Sometimes you leave a car dealership lot feeling this way when somebody's pushing you to buy that particular vehicle, okay? How many have had experiences like this at maybe an electronics store when you're looking for a TV or a computer and they keep shoving that one product down your throat because they're going to get extra commission for selling it? So this method that we're teaching is the soft sell method. And the soft sell method is when you're selling, when somebody buys something that they don't expect to buy. So they're coming, they're not expecting to buy popcorn, but that's not what they're buying. You're going to sell them scouting, okay? So this is a soft sell. Who knows who Mimi Aikun is? Anybody? So she's a fashion blogger. She does $2 million a year off her fashion blog. She does a video where she shows hair products or skin products, and never once does she say, I'm selling this, or would you buy this? Or would you like to have this for your own? She just demonstrates how it works, and if you click on her video, it automatically takes you to a link where you can buy that. Never once does she say buy, sell, or would you like to? Okay, and we kind of picked up on this. When people are soft sold something, they feel like they've contributed, they're happy, and they feel like they got a deal. And that's what we want people leaving the table feeling like they've accomplished. So the product versus medium, product is scouting, medium is popcorn. You make more money selling the product than if you sell the medium, the popcorn, okay? What we found is that 1 out of 10 people buy when a boy is standing in front of the table going, hey, I'm selling popcorn, hey, buy my popcorn. 1 out of 10. And usually that one is an old den mother or an old scout master or somebody that was an Eagle Scout in 1965, okay, and wants to tell stories of how he used to do it, okay? So when you go to the soft sell method, what we found is that we got 7 out of 10 people to the table, and 6 of those 7 people bought. We had a 60% close ratio, which is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to sales. We had an Amway guy come by one time, and he heard Luke's speech. He didn't end up buying, but he came back and he goes, if I could teach my Amway people to sell just like he's doing, they would all be millionaires. So he was quite impressed. So a little breakdown, door to door, hardest way to do it. You guys got some opportunities here that we don't have in San Francisco, where your apartments are so close together. You got a door right here, you knock, you step 10 feet over, you got another door, you turn around, you got another door, you go up the stairs, you got 4 more doors. So you can hit 8 houses in a matter of 2 minutes if nobody's home. You could knock on all 8 of those doors that quick. Luke, our neighborhood, he's got these 35-degree hills, and the houses are 100 feet apart. It takes him 30 seconds to walk from door to door to door. He hates it. I make him go out and do it anyways just because he's got customers. So I make him go hit the same ones off his order form from the year before. And, one of the hardest ways to do it, but I think you guys got some good communities here that I've driven by and I've seen that are excellent for door-to-door sales where you can hit people real quick. Particularly if you're going to do the wagon and the popcorn on it, you do it during a Sunday football game or a Monday night football game and you hit them up and they'll buy lots of popcorn from you. It's just like hitting the tailgate parties. The transportation hubs, you guys don't have the subway system like we have, but don't be surprised if you go and you hit a bus station that's rather at a busy time and hit all the people coming off the buses. You'll be surprised at places that you wouldn't think are going to be great places to sell. Mom and Dad, don't take the order form to work. If you're going to do that, take your scout, let him do it. Don't do the work for your scout. He doesn't learn anything, he doesn't get anything out of that. So, scouting, what are we selling when we're selling scouting? So, to me, we're selling the leadership of the boys because they're teaching the other boys as they go along. You're selling civics, I don't like to say this because somebody kind of got me on it, but you're promoting civil service. So the boys go out, our boys do a park cleanup, and they need gloves and trash bags and reflective vests, okay, and that costs money. That's not free, so we need to figure out a way to raise that money to go do our community service projects. So you're not selling the community service, you're selling, we need the supplies for it so that we can go and do more and do bigger projects like build a new garden at the school or build some new park benches. So you're teaching them communication, you're teaching them philanthropy with all the places Luke donates money. He also supports 3 special needs scouts. One of them lives in a homeless shelter with his mom, and they don't have a place to store any popcorn to go sell, and they have a hard time making it to the meeting, so we make sure that everything is funded for them. Anybody else think of something they learn when it comes to dealing with popcorn? Anything? Anything? Accounting, cash management, product management. Yeah. How many people know how many merit badges are associated with popcorn sales? Okay. Marketing. Yep, marketing. Salesmanship, communication, public speaking, transportation, plant life. There's about 15 merit badges, and I got a slide at the end of this that shows them all. So the anatomy of sale, the initial contact, what does the scout need to know? The scout needs to make direct eye contact with the person and say their name. Hi, my name is. And that's one of the hardest initial things to teach them when they're really shy, is that they got to look up, make eye contact, and say their name as loud as possible. Okay? Even if they're screaming, because now people have all the earbuds in and they're looking down at their phones, so they need to get that contact. And like Luke said, if you don't get that contact, move on. Hey, my name is, guy keeps walking, all right, go to the next one. Okay, pick up the next one. The opening. The opening is really the important part, because we call this the yes questions. So the psychological effect behind yes questions is, and car dealerships use this on you a lot. They go, so if you're wearing a red shirt, you come on in, they say, oh, so you like the color red? They already know the answer. Yeah, I like the color red. All right. You like the way the wind blows in your hair here in hot Texas? Yeah, you know, I love a cool breeze. Well, you know what? I have this red convertible Corvette right over here. What would it take to get you in this car today? You know, and next thing you know, you're being sold a convertible Corvette instead of the Toyota Prius you were there to buy. Okay, he's asking you yes questions. So when people ask you yes questions right off the bat, they're getting your agreement. They're getting you to connect with them, so that when they finally get down to the question that matters, you're going to automatically say yes because you're in the pattern of saying yes. All right? So that's one of the sales techniques they teach people in college. So Luke's yes questions are, hi, my name is Luke. Yeah, you're Luke. Okay. All right, I'm trying to raise this amount of money. Yeah, that's cool. Okay, you're still in agreement. They think it's pretty cool how much he's raising. Oh, you help the blind scouts. That's awesome. Oh, you're earning your own way to National Scout Jam. That's commendable. So now he goes to the buy-in question. Can I count on your support to help me? It's not, well, will you buy my popcorn so that I can go? It's, can I count on your support? And anybody that's not a narcissist is going to say, sure, you can count on me, kid. I'm here for you. I'm tracking, man. I like what you're doing. And he goes, well, then I have all this delicious popcorn. This is how you can help me, okay? Delicious is a desire word. Have the kids practice using descriptive words. Chocolatey, delicious, crunchy. You know, words that are going to entice people, create salivation. I'm salivating already just saying them, okay? So teach them the descriptive words that create desire. So that's the presentation of the medium. Objections to the sale. Luke went over all the objections of what he's come across and how to deal with them. So if you predict these, okay, you already know people are, when you tell them the price, this is $20, $25, you could go, what? So he even heads it off. He goes, you know, I just want you to know beforehand that 73% of this is going to scouting. And this is where it's going to go to for me. And on top of that 73%, I get an extra 6% from my college. And people are like, wow, that's a lot. So they'll go, well, I'll take that bag, and this bag. And I'll be like, okay, that's $80. And I'm taking their credit card, waiting for them to put another bag back. And they're like, I'm like, $80, shoot. Okay, and they're fine with it. Okay, so because they know where all the money is going. And it's not a question about the price, it's they're feeling satisfied with everything that they're doing to make that happen. They know they're sending boys to camp on scholarship. They know they're helping Luke get to his goals. They know they're helping blind scouts at the School for the Blind. Okay, they're stoked. They couldn't be more happy of what they've just done. So that's the close and take the payment. So work with your scouts, teach the speech, teach them to anticipate the maybe questions. Because like Luke said, when you drop to a no, you got 2 steps to get them back up to a yes. So if you keep them at the yes and they drop to the maybe, or you even head off the maybe and you keep them at that yes the whole time, by the time you're ready to close, it's a done deal. Teach the scout to make suggestions. Hey, luckily Luke likes the chocolatey caramel corn, and it's the most expensive. 75% of people, studies have shown that 75% of the time, people will take what you suggest. Okay, when you go to the restaurant and you ask the server, well, what's good? And they go, well, I like this steak, it's pretty good today, but we also have the fish. They're taught to tell you 2 different items, okay? And guess what you get? You get the steak. Guess which one was the most expensive? The first one they offered to you, okay? That's how they raise their sales within a restaurant, okay? So you can do the same thing at the table. Luckily for me, you know, Luke's not lying when he says he likes the most expensive one. So teach the scout to point out which one he likes the most. And Luke will go, but this is really sweet. So if you don't like sweet, we have these savory ones with the jalapeno or the white cheddar. So he always makes alternate suggestions. And he goes, well, if you're on a diet and you're watching your weight, then we have the pop your own, and you can just air pop it and there's no extra calories to it. So swipe the card. So 35% of our sales are all done on credit card. So out of $42,000, $14,000 of it went on credit card. If you are not using credit card, you are throwing away 35% of your sales. In fact, on top of that, you're throwing away more, because when somebody comes up and they only got $20 in cash, guess what? How much they spend when you say, well, we take credit card. Last year, Square said $38 was the average sale on credit card. So, which was more than what Square was expecting, so they were rather happy about that. So if you want to sell more, use the credit cards. This year, Trails End's going with Swipe. A bunch of us are all still set up with Square. I know there's a couple other payment options, so it's really up to you guys how you do it. Response to the sale. So we went over the ratio of the no's, the hard sale, 1 out of 10. That means the boy is getting 9 no's before he gets to that yes, okay? In that time, he's getting no after no after no. It's pounding him into the ground, and he's losing confidence, and he's getting quieter and quieter until it's no longer funny. He's like, I want to go home, okay? That's what you want to stay away from. So the yeses, getting those people to the table, even if the boy doesn't make the sale, he's excited he got somebody to the table, okay? And that's what we want to keep, is that excitement going, where they're going to be able to build that self-confidence, practice those communication skills, be able to look an adult in the eye and explain what they need. And then when they go beyond popcorn sales, when they go to school and they need something, they're not scared to go to an adult and say, hey, this is what I need, but this is my idea, and sell it to them. Well, I heard this phrase somewhere, the maybe is a yes, so do your best. So if they recognize, when you teach them the maybes, they'll recognize it as a maybe, and then they'll get excited that they're going to try harder to close the deal. And it's really fun to watch this whole process in action. So positive feedback cycle. I was at a sale one time, and we had a boy, and he was getting a lot of no's, and it was getting cold. We get this onshore breeze in San Francisco, and it gets real cold real quick. He didn't have a jacket. He was getting hungry because he didn't need any, his dad didn't bring any snack. And the dad goes, if you don't stop complaining and don't keep on selling, then you're going to be grounded from games when you get home. So the boy automatically knew that he wasn't going to keep on selling. He was done. He was toast. He was over. So now he's upset that he's going to be grounded. So now he's even more frustrated, more anxiety is created in him, and now dad's dragging him off to the car. Now bedtime routine goes down the drain because he's distraught and anxiety and upset that he didn't succeed. And now he wakes up mad, now he goes to school, now he gets in trouble at school. This is called the negative feedback cycle. And I try to teach the parents and even the scouts to not fall into this trap. So the positive feedback cycle is where you come up with the edge demonstration. And Luke actually taught this to me. He came back from a merit badge class and he goes, I learned edge today. And I'm like, well, what's that? He's like, it's explain, demonstrate, guide, and encourage. And I'm like, oh, well, that's what we do at Popcorn all the time. So now I had a name to what I do. So explain to the boys the flavors and how you know, like Luke said, hey, we open up bags all the time and let them start tasting it, especially, you know, every single product we have, the boys have tried, so that they can actually recommend something. How can they recommend something if they've never tried it? So when you're doing $10, $15, $20,000 in sales, what is 10 bags of popcorn to open up and let the boys enjoy? Oftentimes customers will even buy a bag and just give it to the boy. So we have that happen to us all the time. One of the things anybody a dog trainer in here from Lackland? Anybody? Okay. So I work with a bomb sniffing dog, and we have a term that we use with the canine, and it's called successive approximation. And this is where we create opportunities for success for the dog in small steps. We just don't take a brand new dog and take them outside into a complex, noisy environment and hide something for them and expect them to find it. They're not going to do it. They're going to be scared. They're going to cower. They're not going to work. So we start in a quiet room with just the dog and a reward. And we teach the dog a sit, and we put him into the shape of a sit, and then we give him a reward. And we pair it with the command. And we do this until finally we get to the point where we introduce the dog to an odor, and we tell it to sit, and we give it a reward till the dog does it on his own. And then we move the dog into an environment where he has to look for it. And then we move him into an environment where it's chaotic. So like you were saying, the chaotic environment of 500 people rushing down the road, you wouldn't take a tiger and put him, the first time selling him, put him out on that corner. He's going to hide underneath the table. So you got to do successive approximation to ensure that the success is there. But this is what we do anyways from Cub Scout to Eagle Scout. Each one of those merit badges is part of successive approximation. They just accomplished a small task that gave them a skill set. And then they accomplished another one, and then another one, until finally they're an Eagle Scout and they're a complex problem-solving machine. So you're just not automatically an Eagle Scout. So this is part of how you create that positive feedback cycle for the scout. And never threaten with punishment. If you catch a parent doing that, hey, just say, hey, he did a great job today. Encourage the scout, high five, let him go home. Otherwise, you now have a scout that's never going to come back to scouting because he got in trouble for popcorn because he didn't sell, and he didn't do a good job, so now he's frustrated and he doesn't want to do it again, so he's not going to come and sell popcorn. And anytime he gets in trouble at scouting, he's never going to come back because it always results in a punishment. So they're going to shy away from that. I get parents who'll go call me and they'll be like, Johnny's not going to be at PAC today, he was bad at school. I'm like, don't keep them from coming to a den meeting because they were bad. Bring them, because I'm going to teach them the skills to deal with whatever frustrated them at school that got them in trouble. I'm going to help them learn to cooperate. So that's one of the things that I say. So one of my favorite books that I read, so you're going to like, Jacob, man, that's a lot of information. I got most of that from a book called Families Where Grace is in Place. It's an awesome book. It's called Getting Away from Manipulation, Control, and Punishment. And it's an amazing book. It teaches you to look at stuff from an empathy, compassion point of view and a love point of view instead of a punishment and control. How many of us were raised, you just wait till your dad gets home and you get that whipping, okay? That was manipulation, punishment, and control, okay? That was how we were raised, and that's not the best method to do it. Another great book is Listen to What Your Kids Aren't Telling You. I cried 10 times reading this book. It took me a week to read it. I had to keep putting it down. The guy's name is Michael Pritchard, and he does bullying counseling. And one of the sessions he did, he had this Down syndrome child, and a bunch of bullies were in the room too. And he goes, you know, I understand why people make fun of me, because I'm different. But he goes, what really hurts me is when they make fun of my friend Tim, because the only thing he did wrong was be my friend, okay? And he communicates all this stuff in this book of these stories that are just heartbreaking, that we as adults don't hear our kids telling us. They're trying to tell us things, and we're missing it because we were raised under that punishment and control method versus an empathy and compassion. So both those books pair together nicely. So where to sell? I've heard people go, there's no place in my area. In my class that I gave last night, there was a lady that actually grew up where I was from, and she knows my area, and I'm like, what do I got in my area? She goes, you have a Whole Foods, it was like, it's similar to Fresh and Easy, there you go, Fresh and Easy, and a Walgreens, okay? The Fresh and Easy closed, so now I got to Walgreens, okay? I have no place in my area technically to sell. So we go to other areas. We look for where the captive audience is at, where we got the most people. Where is there a unit not selling popcorn? Golden Gate District has 2 units that sell and only 5 boys between those 2 units. So the whole city of San Francisco, only 5 people sell. So we go to San Francisco and we sell. So until they decide they're going to make the millions of dollars that they can make out of that area, we're going to go there and we're going to work that area. So you have to think outside the box and look for other areas. Make sure you get your permits. San Francisco is weird. There's no permit that falls underneath what we do. So as long as we're within 3 feet of a business, we're considered that business property. And as long as we have their permission, we can set up there. Alameda County, which is the other side of the bay from us, we have to have a food permit. And then if we sell at the BART station, we have to have a BART free speech permit. So I go and I get all those permits for the Boy Scouts and issue them all out. Conflicts between units, you may have this. Somebody's like, don't poach my area, and you just, or you have so many units so congested in one spot that they all want to sell at the one store. So you just have to work that out and go, hey, you know what? Go ahead, have that one. We'll take this one over here, and just look for ways to relieve the congestion. Go, hey, you know what? We're going to go downtown Austin, and or go downtown San Antonio. Or we're going to go get on the military base and try the PX. That might be a hard one to do. I'm getting a no shake over here. So, but just think outside the box. You never know who you're going to meet and the contact you're going to get.
Do you handle where to sell at the pack level or the troop level, or do you handle it at the council level?
So I am a volunteer all the way to the council level. So when it comes to the BART permits, one area has like 20 packs and 10 troops, and they all want to sell at the 2 particular BART stations. So we go, now this year we're going 2 packs at a time. One gets one side, one gets the other. If you don't have at least 4 scouts there, you don't get to sell, and it goes to somebody else. Because we had one claim a station to themselves, and one dad and one kid showed up, and that was a lost opportunity for other people to make money. So we try to schedule it through there's a website, Signups or Sign Genius or something like that. Sign Up Genius, there you go, that some of the units are using, and I'll cluster those together, but there's other ones that nobody goes to. So I'll grab our boys, I'll be like, hey, we're driving 10 miles, we're gonna go hit this area because nobody there does this one. And then we'll crank out $2,000 in a couple hours, and then we'll be like, okay, we're not gonna tell anybody about this and keep it to ourselves, you know? So you just gotta play around with it and search around and have fun. And busy street corners, people have to stop for a minute and a half and wait for that walk sign. You get fresh customers every minute and a half, and they're stuck there for a minute and a half, and you got 2 scouts going, hey, how's it going? And they have that opportunity to do that pitch, and then you get fresh people another minute and a half later. It's a constant flowing cycle. Look like a Boy Scouts back here. The #1 seller, who knows who the #1 seller is in the nation? His name's Ben, he's out of New York. We think he ages out this year, which defaults to Luke as the #1. So his method is he has a car, he's 17, he turned 18 already, I think. He drives all his popcorn down at 6 o'clock at night, and he hits the restaurant districts and the clubs areas, and where there's all these people standing around waiting in lines to get in the restaurants, and he sells them the popcorn. And then he hops in his car and he goes back home and he does it the next Friday night or the next Saturday night. And he has fresh customers every single time, because they're not going to eat at the restaurant 2 nights in a row or even every 2 weeks. So he's got 2 whole weeks of fresh customers where he's going to be they're just $20, $20, $20 selling the caramel corn. Okay, so that's another great area. For you guys, what's some great areas? What's some ideas? What's that? The Riverwalk. Okay, so that's kind of like our Pier 39. So you got to make sure that there's probably special rules and regulations for street vendors there. So just make sure you contact the proper authorities to get the right permission. The Alamo is a national park. So probably any national park, you're not allowed to sell within 100 feet of it or something like that. There's some vendor laws related to that, because we have quite a few national parks along the waterway in San Francisco. So we kind of fall into the same thing. So make sure you know the boundary lines. What else? Football games, college football games, high school football games, yeah. Baseball games, same thing. What about a cattle auction? How many cowboys were probably a Boy Scout? Just about all of them, maybe? A pig auction. Any of those. You go up there an hour before the auction and stay there a couple hours, you'll be surprised. An auto auction, if you get permission to set up at an auto auction. There's lots of those around here. There's all these other awesome opportunities that you don't have to set up at a gas station or H-E-B or Walmart, that there's other great areas. How are we doing on time? Let me see here, see if I need to. 11:30, all right. So these were Austin's numbers. You guys are a little bit less on this. I think you're still at 2 million people for your area. We always go with 4% contact is the number. So I'll switch sides here in a minute and I'll show you guys your numbers. So I'll come back to that. So product return control. This is one of the things that really frustrated me the year before last. I ran out of popcorn. We were halfway through the sale. I'm like, I need more popcorn. Get me more popcorn. And I'm calling district executive and they're like, there's no more left. We can't get any more. It's all gone. And I'm like, okay, bummer. The day after popcorn return, I go in to hand over my check and I look down the hallway, and this hallway is 120 feet long, 4 feet wide, stacked with popcorn. I'm like, I lost all my integrity as a scout and used some words that probably weren't appropriate. I was like, where was this when I was calling for it? Who returned all this popcorn? I'm like, this hurts us in the council so bad. And San Antonio, or Austin, had $150,000 in return popcorn last year. And they luckily were able to redistribute it so it didn't cost them anything. They were able to get it taken care of. But you got to remember scout values. We're supposed to be thrifty, wise managers of our money. And you can't just hand a parent $1,000 of popcorn or $2,000 in popcorn and say, go out and sell this, and then 6 weeks later, go, okay, do you got the money? And then they go, oh, we didn't make it out at all, here's all your popcorn back. And now you're taking that back to council going, sorry. You know, it hurts the council, it hurts the unit, it hurts the scouts. And you're supposed to be helpful. If you got excess stuff, don't hold on to it. Tell your council executive, hey, we're not going to make it this year. We got this extra stuff. Do you have any units that need it? Okay. There's actually a guy in Austin that's going to design a program where you can log in and post that you got extra stuff and see who's asking for extra stuff, so that you can, so that those guys up in Austin can exchange it nicely. If you got somebody that's tech savvy here, then maybe they can do that here too. Some councils don't even allow returns. Your council does. Louisiana, you say, I want $20,000 in popcorn, you get $20,000 in popcorn and you better sell it all or it comes out of your own funds. So don't allow a bad season to cost you the opportunity to return the next prior year. And it really is the death of a good season. So here's how it works out. Now granted, percentage-wise for units and councils fluctuate from area to area. So this is just kind of a general number. For every $1,200 in retail price of product you return, that's a camp scholarship for a Boy Scout to go to summer camp or a Weeblo to go to camp. That's $324 of lost commission. For every $100,000 of returned product, the council still has to pay for that product. They pay 27, 28% for the cost of that product. So they have to pay out of their own pocket $28,000. On top of that, the council loses their percentage, which may be 33 to 40%. Okay? So combined, out of every $100,000 in retail cost, the council loses $61,000. That's how much it hurts the council when you return popcorn. So the goal, my goal last year was to make sure that we didn't have any returns. And last year we sold as a council less than we did the year before, but we had more profit at the end because we only had $4,000 in return product versus $60,000 we had the year before. So that's the amazing feat that product control really happens. So as parents and as popcorn kernels, make sure you control that product properly. Square, I kind of went over this already. The year before, 100% of all our take order was collected. They either paid cash, credit card, or check. So I didn't have to go back and collect any money from any people. It was already done. All I had to do was drop off their popcorn. Anybody here, your unit use Square? Anybody? Anybody? So this year it's $5 per parent that's signed on as an employee. One of the ways to get around that is you can create a category of the Scout's name and then put all the products underneath the Scout as an item under that category. And then when you generate your reports, you can just generate it by category and then you'll know what each Scout sold. I make the parents put their own products in because I'm not going to, 10 Scouts, that's 150 products I have to enter. So I'm not going to do that because we have 15 products. So I make them enter it if they're going to use the square. Units decide how you're going to pay your fee. I tell units that don't sell, that don't use credit card, I'm like, listen, tell me where you set up. I'll set up next to you and I'll only take credit card payments and I will make more money than you make because you're not taking credit cards. You are throwing away 35% of your unit commission because you don't take credit cards. Do the affiliate?
Yeah, and Square, if you do an affiliate, say you take your information, you put it out there, somebody else signs up to do Square, you get $1,000 fee processing fees. That doesn't count against.
You can do that. What's it save you? What's 2.7% on $1,000? What is that? $2, $3, or is it $20? What's $20? So you're saving $20. This really is a nominal fee for the amount extra you're going to be making. We basically cover it as an administration cost of the unit, and we figure it into the cost of doing the sale. So pop your own kernels. These are a couple websites that you can go, and I'll print these out and I'll put them with the pop your own kernels so people can make their own flavors. One of these has like 50 different flavors that you can create at home with the pop your own kernels. She has a copy of the PowerPoint. I think it's going to be posted on your popcorn website so you can get those there, or just Google popcorn flavors or homemade popcorn flavors. It'll come right up. So merit badges. So I'm now a certified merit badge counselor, and I'm on Scoutbook. Anybody using Scoutbook? Anybody just bought it into it? Awesome. So I do everything. I love it. I love it. I think it's the greatest thing. And so I'm on there as a merit badge counselor. So you search our section. So if you got any boys that want to do salesmanship and earn that merit badge, contact me through Scoutbook, and I can be your merit badge counselor for that. So these are the other ones: art, communication, digital technology, graphic arts, entrepreneurship, journalism, movie making, personal management, photography, plant science, public speaking, truck transportation. Those are all the categories that popcorn sales can cover with it, or doing table sales and designing your own poster and doing all that. That's some of the stuff it can cover. So here's all my information. My email address, Luke's Facebook account, my Facebook account. It's no longer a TSA badge. There's 3 Jacob Fewxes on Facebook. One's my dad, one's my cousin, and one's me kissing my wife when I asked her to marry me. My phone number, if you just really need some personal contact with me to get some advice, depending on your question, it may be you're going to have to contact your district executive, but I've certainly had some people go, Jacob, I'm having trouble with the committee. What do I do? How do I word this to get them on board? Merit badge counselor on Scoutbook, and it's the San Francisco Bay Area Council. All right, end of slide, so I'll go back to that contact. Previous, how did I do? All right, I'm under an hour. There you go. So what questions do you got for me? Any questions?
So it sounds like they'll do a lot of individual work with you and Luke. Do you keep individual accounts to get your 40%, or do you turn that back into a unit?
So under the IRS rules, the 501c3 rules are that all money is controlled by the 501c3. Okay? There are some very specific rules that you must follow within the IRS guidelines. And there is a webinar on, I think it's posted on the Scout blog, and the head financial guy of the BSA, National BSA, breaks down what happened. So when the rule originally came out, there was some panic and everybody canceled Scout accounts and stuff like that, and some things were jumped, and then they asked for clarification from the IRS, and and I haven't gone on recently to view if there's more clarifications, but what the head financial scout guy goes, the scout can still use money for himself. Part of our fundraising guidelines is scout's supposed to earn his way. It's in the fundraising manual, okay? So in order to earn his way, we have to create the opportunity for them to do that. Now what you can't do as a 501c3, go, hey, we have all this money, let's all go to Slitterbomb, or let's go to Six Flags, okay? You can't do that. It has to be something related to scouts. Or a parent can't go, Jimmy needs a new backpack for school, can I use that money he raised for popcorn? No. If he needs new shoes for hiking, or he needs a new hiking backpack, or a tent, or camping gear, then he can get that, okay? Under the law, though, that equipment is technically the 501c3's equipment, okay? It doesn't mean they have to control it the whole time, but it is technically their equipment, okay? So just review that webinar, and it's about 45 minutes long. It was really super informative. What you can't do is, scout accounts used to be a bank account. They actually had a bank account with a card that they could access their money. So you can't control whether or not they're actually using it for scouting related stuff. So that's where the IRS says, no, you can't do that. So you can still keep a log of what scouts do. For our group, we go, okay, 17% of your sale up to $500 goes to administrative costs of the unit. So we do that for printing, badges, training for the adults, any books we need, stuff like that. Then we figure out what the scouts are going to do for the whole year. We figure out the cost. So the next $500 they do is now going to go towards those costs. Anything above and beyond that they sell now goes to their personal goals. So if they're trying to go to National Scout Jamboree, or they're trying to go to NASA Space Camp. So the nice thing about NASA Space Camp is the robotics program, you get your robotics merit badge. The Mach 2 or the aviation program, you get wilderness survival and you get aviation merit badge. For the space camp, you get astronomy and space exploration merit badge. So you can use those funds to go to those because it's a scout related thing. Also, the benefit to the unit, when the scout comes back from those, he's going to teach what he learned to the other boys in the unit. So it's a benefit to the unit to keep the unit growing. So it's one of those things that's justifiable. So some of your units, I know, control all of it, okay, and nothing goes back to the scout. So for the philanthropy part of the speech, you as a unit can decide what you want to help donate money to, whether it be your local blind scouts at your school for the blind if you have one here, whether it be for animal shelter, whether it be for something else. You can decide as a unit how to give some administrative funds to those to help support the philanthropy and public service aspect of their speech. Does that answer your question?
One thing I wanted to add to that, during our popcorn training, we talked about how you set up your prize program for your unit. Yes, as a unit, a troop, you may put money into their scout accounts and Excel spreadsheet. That is fine, but you still need to do some kind of incentives throughout the sale or the end of sale to keep them going. Even Boy Scouts, they still want some kind of incentive to motivate them. Summer camp, a year away is just not, immediate now. So one of the things we talk about is setting up your prize program. If you want your top seller to get 2 tickets to Schlitterbahn, that's allowed, as long as you document your prize program. That was your top seller, as long as he gets, but it has to be at a certain level. Say, if he gets to $3,000, you may,
you get the 7-inch tablet, or you get.
Yes, you can set your price levels, but it's got to be documented, just like this. It's got to be in your program. Then Schlitterbahn passes may be allowed. But yes, for council, one of the things we're considering is we want to make our $2 million goal. We want to finally hit 2 million. And so one of the things we were thinking, what if we hit 2 million, maybe we can have a scout and price levels are between 4 and 5%. If you're getting 5% cash, you should reward those kids. The 5% should be some kind of, that's what we recommend as a council. 5% should be a prize immediate here and now. The money that goes into the scout account to pay for summer camp next year, that should be over, above, and beyond. So you set a level, say they get to 300 or 400 or 500. They pay for their dues, their registration, right? And then they get to 600, maybe that pays for summer camp. And then they get to 900 or 1,000, maybe then they get extra prizes. You know, we recommend you have those benchmarks in our council. Every council does it different. Some councils don't do prizes anymore. We still do because we take the work away from, it's mostly PACs that do it, but we take the work away from you by providing you with the gift cards and such. So that you don't have to then go out and create a prize program or create a flyer and stuff. It's just our way of doing it. Now, I will tell you, only 35% of our units that sell use our program. So if it continues declining, at some point maybe we won't be doing a prize program. Bonus prices though, eligible for everybody, no matter which program you choose, the 5% or our prize. So just remember, bonus is for everyone.
So I found, here's the numbers for San Antonio. So the easy number based on our success rate is you guys could easily do $2.1 million in sales. That's 60% sales rate at $38. The national average on Trails End across the whole nation is $19. So when we go to our next slide here, if I get it to go. So that's 96,000 people at 4%. That's 28 contacts with 16 sales at $38 a sale. So even if you don't hit that 38, Luke's sitting at $39.05 per sale right now. So the double that to 32 sales at the national average, and your guys you've raised $2.2 million. If you just take your bottom 2,000 scouts that sold $300 or less, and you double that, you have an extra $600,000. So that puts you at $2.8 million in sales for this area. So the upsell, you want to know how important that is? Multiple item sales, 35% of our sales, people ordered more than one bag of popcorn. Now these numbers are based on take order and not table sales. It's really hard to keep track of table sales for Luke because we do things so fast. I would have to hire somebody to stand off to the side and calculate how many people he contacted. But these are take order numbers. Another thing I forgot to mention, so Luke gives out, we talk about added value. How do we add value to a product? So when it comes to the caramel corn, he goes, we get twice as much caramel corn and you get the nuts for free. Okay? Added value. The box set, you got the chocolate and you got a white cheddar. Well, you get the butter toffee for free if we just put you in for this one. Hey, you got the white cheddar. You like white cheddar? Yeah, it's good, isn't it? I like it too. All right. So you order 2 bags, you get the jalapeno for free from the cheese lovers box. So he's added value to it and he doubles his sales that way. So he has a customer appreciation card. Who knows what this is called right here at the bottom? It's a QR code. If they scan this with their phone, it takes them to his online sales page and they can order more popcorn. On the back, there's a QR code for the orphanage that he helps support in China. And it takes you right to their page and you can see what they do. They provide private school for 360 orphans. So then it has all the things he did that year. So they're participating. They feel like they're investing in Luke, so he's showing them exactly what he does. On the back it says how much the money he raised, where the money went, and what he plans to do the next year. And then business customers that buy a lot of popcorn from him, he puts their logo on the card. So Scott's Trailer, they buy $700 worth of popcorn from him every year. TMH, it's a forklift company, they just bought $1,000 of popcorn from him. La Terrafina, they make the hummus and the salsa for Costco, and they bought $2,000 worth of popcorn from him last year, and they're going to do it again this year. But it took him 3 years to even get in the door to make contact with them. Okay, first year he couldn't get past the phone outside. The next year he couldn't even get up the stairs past the secretary. And the third year the phone was broke, and he ended up talking to a guy at the taco truck in the front of the building when they were all out there buying their lunch. And he ended up meeting the VP of marketing that took him upstairs, and he got his meeting that he wanted. So sometimes it takes a while to get his foot in the door and convince them. So La Terrafina goes, well, how do we do this? He goes, well, you buy a bag of popcorn for all your employees, and we'll pair it with your safety awareness program. And we did this card. He's wearing all this safety equipment, and it says, be prepared for safety. Always wear your PPE, personal protective equipment. And then on the back it says, us Boy Scouts, we want to make sure our parents come home safe, so follow all your safety rules and wear all your personal protective gear. And they got the card and a bag of popcorn for each employee. And so they could write off it as a business expense and a donation for what they'd done. And this was really successful, and we're doing this again this year. We're trying to secure, who knows what Bimbo Bakeries is? Bimbo Bakeries. We met the VP of Bimbo Bakeries for the West Coast. And he's looking at buying for 5 of his bakeries for all of his employees, for Sacramento, Fresno, Modesto, Hayward, and South San Francisco. So maybe if we secure that, we're not going to count that towards Luke's goal, because that'll be able to be like a $50,000 deal. But that's one of the things Luke's learning to negotiate. He sits at a boardroom table and he pitches them. And he was at the Bank of America's Wealth Management Division talking to 20 VPs. And I gave him an hour crash course in how mortgage investment works. And he went in there without his PowerPoint with a note card and talked to 20 VPs for 20 minutes. And he had to relate the hard sell, soft sell as them as VPs trying to convince their managers how to do what they want them to do and make them not feel bad about doing it. So it was really fun watching them do it. And when I'm delivering popcorn, when Luke's in school, I get a lot of people going, man, I'd vote for him for president. So this year's card actually says Scout Luke Fewx for president 2016. So if you want to write his name in, he's got about 500 votes out of California. If you feel like you're wasting a vote anyways, you can write Luke in. And CNN will probably end up doing some kid out of California got 500 votes, okay? So, and, you know, we're doing it as a joke. But people appreciate Scout values, and they appreciate the hard work and the dedication. And I come back home one day and I'm like, Luke, you got another 25 votes for president? And he goes, he's laying on the couch exhausted from popcorn sales, and he goes, well, I guess since so many people want me to be, I'll do it. But only for one term. It was like I asked him to take out the trash. Luke, will you take out the trash? I will, but I'm only going to do it for 4 years. Okay, but it was, you know, it's just amazing what I hear, the feedback I hear back. And Luke's just not this amazing kid. He's every scout. He's your scout. You just have to do all those little successful things that build him into this. And Orville's son took Luke's spot at their popcorn kickoff this last year and got on stage and taught Luke's class. Okay? He's now that successful Luke. In one of the videos, if you go to the Popcorn TV on Trails End, they asked Luke, are you ever going to be number one? And he goes, probably not, because I teach other kids how to do this, and one day I'm going to teach somebody that's going to have the opportunity to sell more than I sell. So Luke, he never even tried to be number two, try to be number one. He just went out there and reached his goals and then exceeded his goal after goal after goal. So that's how easy it is. Any other questions? And I'll end this. I'll be here packing up, and if you want to ask me questions offline, feel free to ask me. Otherwise, we're done. All right, thanks a lot, everybody.